day, but to cheer us all up, I have this 2020 Jaguar F-Type P300 R-Dynamic Coupe for us to have a look around today. So let's have a look around the outside, we'll have a look at the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive and see what we think of it. So the first changes that we can see are at the front. Between this and the previous model, we now have a full size front grille. We have slimmer and different shape complete headlights, now full LEDs. We also have different vents on the bonnet. They are slightly lower down the bonnet now, whereas previously used to be closer to the windscreen. And the front bumper itself is a completely different shape. Still have these 20-inch Gyrodyne alloy wheels that we know from the previous model, and we also have the newer style side vents, same size and shape, but they now feature the Jaguar Leaper, whereas before it had the Jaguar wording on it. And everything else on the side is pretty much the same as before. Let's have a look around the back. So around at the back we now have the newer style tail lamps. They are called chicane tail lamps. We can also see that there's now the option to have the badges in gloss black. This particular car has the exterior gloss black pack, and because it's a P200 it gets the single exit exhaust in the rear. If it were a V8 it would have exhaust either side. Apart from that, pretty much the same around the back. Boot space on the coupe remains largely the same. There's nothing really changed in there, so yeah, you can still get 2 suitcases and overnight bags and that sort of thing in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for boot space. As you can see, not a huge opening on the coupe version, so wide items you'd probably struggle to get in, but then again it doesn't claim to be a practical car. So side profile wise, as I say, pretty much the same as the previous model. Apologies for this one being so dirty. As I mentioned in the video earlier, it is a typical British day. Also apologies if you can hear some noise in the background, not quite sure what that is. But yeah, let's have a look at the interior. So the interior remains largely unchanged again from the previous car. You still get these nice slim body hugging seats. This particular one trimmed in the leather and Alcantara suede cloth. You do get a slight change here, which now says Jaguar established 1935 in Coventry. You still get the joystick style gear selector. That's pretty much it for the interior. If you use the previous model, then this will all be very familiar to you. You'll also notice the digital dash, which is now standard on the car as well. And they've also changed this little sort of cubby hole, that's now a net partition there. Armrest still the same. The glove box, we've got nice little sort of Jaguar wording. I appreciate that we can't see it. Little Jaguar wording around the button for releasing it there. And yeah, pretty much everything else is the same. Okay, so I'm sat in the driver's seat now of the 2020 Jaguar F-Type Coupe. And as I mentioned just a second ago, it's all very familiar. As I said, you get the Jaguar established in Coventry in 1935 logo now. I'll zoom in there so you can see you've got the Jaguar wording around the glove box release. And yep, so you've got these slim seats here as well. So that's largely unchanged since the previous model. And there used to be a sort of cubby hole where this netting is. They've removed that and given you this sort of pretty much useless bit of netting there. Centre console is all still the same. You still get the twin cup holders here. I'll move the keys out of the way so you can see. Close that nice and flush. This one has the fixed rear spoiler, as you'll have seen from the intro. So you don't actually get a deployable spoiler button, because of course it doesn't move. So that just becomes one big start-stop button. This dial here, this changes your drive mode. So if you push it back, you go into dynamic. Volume control on the left hand side. If it were a convertible, this is where your convertible roof button would be. Handbrake is here. This one is the active exhaust valves. Doesn't make a huge difference in the P300. If it was a V8 it would make a lot of difference. Traction control button. Then up here we've also got our auto for our climate control. This car's actually fitted with something called Climate Control Pack 1, which gives you heated front windscreen, heated steering wheel and dual climate control. You do not get heated front seats as standard. And I think that is just absolutely appalling from Jaguar. When you're spending £60,000 plus on a vehicle, heated seats should be standard. If you buy an E-Pace for £40,000, in some specs you'll get those as standard. That is inexcusable. They should be fitted as standard. So that's the front screen demister, heated front screen, heated rear screen, start-stop button. We're still on the in-control system here as well, which is the previous Jaguar infotainment system. I don't know when it's going to go to the Pivi Pro, if at all. If you do want to see what Pivi Pro is like, have a look at my Pivi Pro video on the channel. Excuse me. As standard, we do now get the digital driver's dash, which you can customise. Again, you've seen me do it loads of times on the channel. At the moment, I've got it configured as 2 dials with map in the centre. That's just my preference. And you do still also get the raising air vents here as well. Switch those back on just so you can see. Bit of a party piece for the F-Type, but it just gives you that sort of nice, clean, flush dashboard look when you're not using them. Seat controls, so the seats are electric now, as you can see with the switches on the door panel. They never used to be fully electric. They are now, so you can move the seat forwards and backwards. If you opt for the memory pack, you'll get another series of buttons at the top. You'll also get a lumbar support in the middle there as well, but this car's just got the standard seats. We've also got the Meridian sound system here as well. Colour wise, you can upgrade the interior. You can go full black leather, you can go light oyster, you can go full red. There's a new tan colour that's come out. I think it's called Caraway. Can't remember from memory, but I think that's what it's called. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And yeah, it's a really, really nice place to sit. You still get this sort of bar that separates the driver and the passenger, directs the dashboard all towards the driver, so you feel like it's driver focused. Steering wheel wise, as I mentioned, this one's got the heated steering wheel here. Cruise control is now standard on the car. You've always got the volume controls on the left as well. And you also get this sort of centre point on the steering wheel here as well. You never used to get that. Don't really see any real need for it. I know which way the steering wheel is pointing. And it doesn't come with the performance steering wheel as standard. If you want the sort of flat bottom steering wheel, which would cut it sort of there, that would be a cost option. And one thing just to mention as well, you do also now get the frameless rear view mirror. You never used to get that in the previous model. And roof options, you've still got the option of a fixed roof, which this one has, or a glass roof, or you can have now a gloss black contrast roof. So that's the interior of the F-Type Coupe. Let's take it for a drive in the rain. Right, let's take the F-Type P300 for a drive. Now, as some of you may know, I own an F-Type. Mine is a 2015 car, and mine is the V6. And I was always a bit sceptical when we changed to have the engine to include a 2-litre turbocharged. I just thought F-Type really needs V6 or V8 engine. But let's see what this one is all about. So just to confirm, we are in dynamic mode with the exhaust valves open. So we'll try and get as much sound as we can for you. Doesn't really give a lot of sound. Then again, it is a 2-litre, it's not really going to be very vocal, is it? You don't really hear the turbocharger at all. You don't get a sort of whoosh like you do from the supercharged version that I've got. You can hear the supercharged whine sort of working. It's, as I've said in previous F-Type videos, it is a firm ride, but you've always got to expect that because it is a sports car and it sits on 20-inch wheels. This one's on the 20-inch Jaguar alloy wheels. They're wider at the back, so you want 295 30/20 at the back, and that's for your tyres, and at the front you are on 265 30/20. Currently on a 70 miles an hour road and take it up to 70. So driving it, it's comfortable. So you are always aware that it's a firm suspension. That's nice. They're not too intrusive, they don't hug you too much, although I'm not a very tall or very wide person. I'm quite comfortable in the seat. They feel very similar to my seats, although I've got the standard ones from a 2015 car. So, engine choices now, if you're ordering brand new, you have this P300 2-litre turbocharged. You can then opt straight for a V8, so there's no more V6, that's gone. So your V8 supercharged, which will produce 450 horsepower, or you can go for that same V8 producing 575 horsepower, which was the engine that you used to get in the old SVR version, but that's now gone out of production. And again, there's a video on my channel of our very last one in our showroom if you want to see that. And spec wise, you've got either the standard car or the R-Dynamic. Jaguar haven't messed about putting S, SE and HSE variants on the car. There is a special edition model which was launched when they did the facelift, which is called the first edition, and you can have that with any engine if you can still find one that's new. And that comes with things like the full upgrades for the leather, memory seats, upgraded 20-inch alloy wheels, things like that. Definitely worth having a look at. Really, really nice cars. We've sold quite a few of those actually, just because of the spec alone. And yeah, so would I choose a coupe or a convertible? Well, I've got a convertible at the moment, and I certainly wouldn't want to be without the convertible roof. I don't use mine every day, it's just a sort of weekend and a bit of a toy really, to drive the company vehicle during the week. Colours, mine is Loire Blue, this is British Racing Green. We've always been able to order that on the F-Type. Most of them out there, if you're looking on the used market, you'll see are Fuji Whites, Caldera Reds, Santorini Blacks, Corris Greys, Eiger Greys, and like I say, you do see the odd one like mine, which is Loire Blue, or Portofino Blue as it was renamed in 2018 when they did the facelift on the old model. They've brought some new colours back to the lineup to enhance it, so you can now order a yellow colour. I forget the name of it now, someone tell me in the comments, I'm pretty good at remembering colour names. You can order Velocity Blue, you can order some pearlescent white now, but these colours, they're charging an absolute fortune for them. So you're looking at around sort of £4,500 just for these special colours. Whereas most people are just going, yep, fine, I'll just have a grey one, paying £800 to get the standard metallic or a Santorini black, or not paying anything at all and going for a Fuji white. As I mentioned earlier, interior colours, if it was me, I quite like a light interior against a dark colour. So if I was going for this car, and I quite like the British Racing Green if I'm honest, I know some people not too keen on it, think it's a bit of a dull colour. I quite like it. I would rather have a lighter interior, so I'd probably go for the light oyster interior trim. Wheels, I'm not too bothered on those. I would definitely go for 20-inch wheels because I think the standard wheels don't fill the wheel arches very much, and it makes no difference to the ride whatsoever because it's firm suspension anyway. You're not going to notice that difference. And so I'm just driving through a small town now. So I've done motorway and we found that it's nice and comfortable. You can certainly do a 2-3 hour drive in the car, no problem at all. Driving through town, yeah, again you feel the bumps and things like that, but the car doesn't feel like it wants to go all the time. It feels like you can just sort of cruise around town and you just sort of bimble about if you want to, really. So it would be a good commuter car for you. And so yeah, that's my review complete on the 2020 F-Type Coupe. Let me know what you think of the car in the comments section below. And I just also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. We have passed 260 subscribers. I never thought when I started doing this channel, a matter of weeks ago if I'm honest, that I would ever get past know, 20 or 30 subscribers, but clearly you guys like to see the JLR content, you like to see the videos. So the more subscribers I get, the more videos I'll do, because I'll know there's demand for it. Ironically, the very first video I did, which was the new 21 model year F-Pace, wasn't a very good video if I'm honest, but you know, I was just getting the hang of YouTube, filming and editing, that sort of thing. That's just gone past 24,000 views in 3 weeks. Unbelievable. So thank you to everyone who's watched not just that video, but all my videos. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, do please subscribe to the channel. You'll hear about all the videos I post up as soon as they go live. And thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.